Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Ministers, Cabinet Ministers, Honourable Leader of Opposition and fellow Honourable Members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to provide a brief to this August House on key policy reforms currently being undertaken by the Ministry of Education as we work to strengthen governance, accountability and service delivery across the education sector. In the current status, Mr. Speaker, sir, we often find or receive requests coming from schools and stakeholders, particularly parents and school management, that there are lack of teachers in schools, and this results in certain teachers being overladen with work on top of their own. And as a result, Mr. Speaker, sir, at times non-maths teachers ends up teaching maths, and this results in difficulties for both the teacher and the school population. In other instances, there is an oversupply of teachers in schools on specific subjects. As such, we need to adjust these anomalies, and therefore, school audit will continue to be part of these policy changes. As the Ministry continues to focus on improving access, quality, and equity in education, it has become increasingly important to address long-standing gaps and inefficiencies through clear and enforceable policy framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, today I wish to highlight three critical areas in policy development in the Ministry of Education. Number one is the Ministry of Education Discipline Policy. Number two is the teacher transfer policy. Number three is teacher appointments and active appointments policy. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Education is not excluded from the provisions of breaches and misconduct under Fiji's Public Service Regulation. Under the Civil Service Disciplinary Guideline, all staff in government ministries, including temporary, contract, wage earners, and permanent employees, are subject to discipline process. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Education is currently developing a comprehensive disciplinary policy that aims to address cases of misconduct by heads of schools and teachers, and also non-teaching staffs. It is no secret that past practices have often resulted in teachers who commit serious misconduct being simply transferred to a new environment or to another school or moved to headquarters rather than being held accountable. These practices only serves to transfer the problem from one location to another or to another school rather than resolving it. And in most cases, it has put students, put the school and the integrity of the education system at risk. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Education is continuously working to address the anomalies raised to us on a regular basis. Mr. Speaker, sir, in developing the new disciplinary policy for the Ministry of Education, it is looking to anchor it firmly with the existing Civil Service Disciplinary Guidelines and the Civil Service Discipline Regulations, which already requires that any action taken must be prompt, must be transparent, must be fair, must be impartial and consistent, with clear responsibilities, rights to response, and confidentiality safeguarded. In order to mitigate unresolved misconduct in the workplace from slipping through the system, the Ministry of Education will continue to develop and enhance policies to address misconduct that are usually handled by the Performance Disciplinary Unit of the Ministry, and this is to ensure that our employees are empowered to perform their roles and responsibilities diligently. The Ministry of Education is taking steps in working towards restoring public confidence and trust in our education system. And we are also ensuring that our schools and our workplaces are safe and accountable institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, the second on the teacher transfer policy, the teacher transfer policies plays a crucial role in mitigating teacher shortages in schools, in Fiji schools, by enabling greater flexibility, responsiveness, and equity in our staffing. And this policy allows teachers who have served in one school for a tour or 3 years to request or be considered for transfers. This policy will assist us to redistribute human resources where they are needed most. This will allow the Ministry of Education to address surplus teachers in some locations, some divisions, some districts, and shortages also for others. For example, when a teacher retires, when a teacher resigns, or when fewer teachers are available in certain subjects like STEM subjects or remote schools, this policy will have a standard criteria to assist Ministry of Education to address it in a timely manner. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, sir, this policy also includes annual transfer windows and formal procedures so that teacher movements happen in a planned, systematic way, which reduces delays and gaps in school staffing. This means, Mr. Speaker, when schools in maritime and rural regions lose teachers, they are more likely to have replacements ready, reducing disruptions to learning. Mr. Speaker, sir, this policy aligns directly with the Ministerial of Education Strategic Plan and the 2023 General Declaration, as well as the National Development Plan 2025-29 and Vision 2050, and the Sustainable Development Goal 4, as this ensures quality, inclusive, and equitable education for all children in Fiji. One of the strategic priorities in enhancing teacher welfare and improving teacher engagement, especially in remote and rural areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, by making transfer opportunities more predictable, more transparent and fair, the policy helps retain teachers, reduce attrition, motivate staff, ensure that all schools, no matter which location, can access qualified teachers. Mr. Speaker, sir, these policies on discipline, teacher management, and staffing form part of a broader effort to build a professional, accountable, and student-focused education system in Fiji. We are engaging with teachers, school leaders, teacher unions, community leaders, and other stakeholders to ensure that this policy is inclusive, practical, and effectively implemented. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Education is committed to delivering not only access to education, but also quality education built on strong values, professional integrity, and equity for all. The previous policy framework for appointments and acting roles lacked consistent processes across teaching and non-teaching sectors and did not adequately capture accountability mechanisms. This led to unclear approval pathways and delays in processing, perceptions of favoritism and lack of merit-based decision, insufficient checks for disciplinary and performance issues prior to appointment. These gaps presented not only operational inefficiencies, Mr. Speaker, but also risks to the integrity of our workforce. The appointment policy ensures that the right people are placed in the right roles, and not by chance or convenience, but by merit and necessity. Our teachers and education officers deserve nothing less, and our students depend on it. The revised policies for the ministry will include key features that will set guiding principles and standardized principles in order that would further strengthen this policy as an effective administrative tool. We will continue to undertake consultations with all relevant stakeholders, including the teacher unions, in the formulation and the revision of the Ministry of Education policies. Mr. Speaker, sir, the overall objective is to provide a conducive, a friendly, and more efficient and effective learning and teaching environment, and therefore these policies are crucial to eliminate the long-standing gaps and discrepancies that affect everyone, and particularly disadvantaged schools in the rural and maritime islands. Mr. Speaker.